introduce it.
Okay. Yeah, so welcome to What a Mess. This is about the world, because the world is a mess. And what is a mess is sharing circles. And yeah, so sharing circles. So it's not even just women now, men are also doing this. And they, like, adult men and women are coming together in circles and crying and basically what they are doing is sharing emotional stories, like really heavy stories with a lot of baggage about the past, like the stories that they've believed like their whole life, like they're not good enough, and like their mum doesn't love them, and like they don't fit in and belong. Like, we all know these stories, we all have these stories. And so people are coming together and sitting in these circles and then sharing these stories that we already know, because we all have had these stories our entire lives pretty much. And that, like, what a fucking mess, because okay, so we're all telling ourselves each other the same stories that we all have, acting as if they're real, and then we all pat each other on the back and are like, great, yes, your story is just like mine and it's so real, go you, like, thanks for sharing this piece of authentic emotion. And there's nothing, the great thing about emotions is there's nothing wrong with them, but they're totally not real. Like, they're okay, and they're not real, because an emotion is just a story about the past, and like all stories are not in reality. Like, all stories are like all these stories that people are sharing, like, they believe them because they've told them so many times that they think that that's a real story about them. But they just made it up, because in the reality of nature, there are no stories. Actually, humans made up stories, which is really cool. It means we can make movies, and we can, it's like probably the reason why we have airplanes and like a whole lot of other cool stuff, and we made it up because, but then it's like back to what a mess.
Well, yeah, how does believing each other's stories in a sharing circle create such a mess?
It creates a mess because emotions are not like, emotions just create an endless loop, like, because the same story can be told over and over again, and then there's no like a person just stays stuck. So what like, the emotions that people are sharing in these sharing circles, what they're actually for is for healing, because whenever there is a emotional story about the past, then it has some information about, like, basically the story part is just a cover up, because what is really there is an experience of, like, a deeply felt experience from the past that wasn't held, that wasn't processed. So there's this beneath this story layer, there's an unprocessed layer of feeling. And if people just go into circles and keep telling the same stories over and over again, then they're only staying on this surface layer of storytelling, and no one, it doesn't penetrate this layer of reality, which is the actual emotional charge that is stored from the event where the story was created. So the mess is that if people just keep going to these circles and telling each other these emotional stories, they get more and more convinced that the surface layer of storytelling is the part that is real, and they couldn't conceive that actually that's just a total like mask for a unprocessed felt experience from the past. And to clean this shit up, people need to start doing emotional healing processes. and
not believing their stories.
Yeah, so and like, and for this we need stories. Stories are great. Stories are the doorway to healing, because whenever you have a story that keeps coming and coming and coming, then you know that you have an unprocessed felt experience from the past. So you can take your story and take it to a person who has undergone an emotional healing process and has experienced how that goes and can hold one, and you take them your story, and then you just take the story off the top and dive into this like magical goodness realm of reality, and then you come out of it being like this much like being this much more in contact with life, and now you have space to make new stories even, and now that you know that the stories aren't real, then you can make new stories and not be attached to them. You can just make them up and then get rid of them the next day. Like, you can have a story that you like potatoes one day, and then the next day you can have a story that you don't like potatoes, and then you can the next day have a story that your favorite food is ice cream, and then you can just love ice cream so much while you're eating it, and then the next day you can have a different favorite food, and you can choose what kind of relationship you want to have with your parents, and you can choose whether you want to work a modern culture job or whether you're totally not interested in that and it's bullshit, and you actually want to be a witch or a motorcycle photographer, or that's actually probably a modern culture job, but you can dream and you can like be who you actually want to be. And when you're being who you actually want to be, then you won't be in a story, then you'll be living in reality, being who you actually want to be. Wouldn't that be a whole lot cleaner? Less of a mess.
Thank you for cleaning up one of modern culture's messes, Mia.
You're welcome.